Hey, Rob Bop, let's run that intro, y'all. We about to get it cracking, y'all. Young, Rod, we back. What's going on with you? Hey, Rod, can you hear me?
Yep, can you hear me?
Hey, y'all, we back in action. Hey, quick announcement. Hey, we got Rod back in the building, Skype 8 at the North Gate. When we knock, you better bump straight. You know what I'm saying? Quick announcement. I've been talking to Mother Sophia Stewart all day, and she be ready to come on the show, but she want me to get all my questions down so when she come on, I can have the right questions to ask her because she's a prodigy and the way her mind work is real deep. So I'm gonna be bringing her on probably sometime this week. I'm going to call her back tomorrow. We're gonna set up a date. Come on together, Mother Sophia Stewart, the author, creator, writer of the Matrix. So we're gonna have that going on, and then we're gonna have Mama T on too. We might have her and Rod on too, Mama T. So we in contact with her. We finna get in contact with everybody and get them on the show. So we're gonna be having a lot of the phenomenons like y'all say, Mother Sophia Stewart, Mama T, coming on the show between now and next week. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So we got Rod back, y'all. Y'all know I moved to Louisiana, so that's why we had to. And then I had to let the heat die down from the Uma York tape, and we let the heat die down. So now we back in action now. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like them COINTEL Pro tapes. Now this tape right here is entitled "Run Tell the Pope." Now we really it's really a Q&A, but we getting a lot of from all. I'm starting to post all the receipts because I got thousands of receipts from Rod, right? And I'm posting all the receipts in shorts now. Every day we dropping a receipt, right, for you, so you can get caught up. Now, everybody was on. Everybody don't know it. We put the Pope on notice. Rod already announced that and everything. The Pope been on notice. But the question that we have for you, brother, because I put the short out where we from. Where you said that when you went over to discuss with the officials in Africa and about the Pan Africanism and all that, and about where we was from, they said y'all ain't from here. Y'all from over there. Now we already know the whole rundown on it, but what do you say to those people who are out here saying that Rod don't know what he's talking about when he say that we ain't from over there, that we ain't African Americans, that some people say we are African Americans. They get all spiritual about it and aggressive. What do you say to those people? Go ahead, Rod.
Go to Africa. Look, my job is not to coddle Africans in the diaspora in the Americas. I don't have no personal beef with them people, right? I'm just saying that we was already here and we actively reclaiming what's ours. And while we doing this over here, Africans is actively reclaiming what's theirs. Once we get done reclaiming everything, we gonna have everything. So if they feel like they African roots is more important than they ties to this land, participate in Africa's struggle to overthrow the colonization of the African continent, they not finna go over there. Ain't none of them, Dr. Umar Johnson is not finna move to Africa. He can be unapologetically African. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But he ain't finna move to Africa. They live good in parts of Africa. All of Africa not in poverty like they have us believing. They got metropolises over there, booming, bustling cities, right? And all over the continent. This is a global struggle of the organic peoples from all over the earth to reclaim their birthright. That's all. If they feel like they want to reclaim their birthright and they from Africa, you better go over there in the system and take back what y'all was stolen from y'all. Because that's all we doing over here. We ain't asking for no handout. we know that they can't pay us reparations. When they give us everything back, they're not going to have nothing to give us because they owe us everything. And we back for everything they owe.
That's right.
So that's my position on that. I don't mind them being African. They can be as African as they want to be. They can put on the dashiki, which is actually Southwestern United States in origin, but we don't want to talk about that. And the colors might be African, but all it is what the Spanish call a poncho, made with a different fabric. Right? They had different styles, and they named each of the different styles different. So it's fine if people are African Americans. But just remember, when you start discovering your native roots, have that same passion for claiming your native birthright when you do your investigation. Keep the passion the same. That's all I say.
Hey, Rod, the next question we got for you is not a Pope. Now we know that the Pope been getting his cut. He been off our backs and our labor, and the Pope getting all the benefits. And could you go in to break down on how the Pope connection and us, like with the Black Christian codes and all that, with connection with the Pope and on the land, and how now the Pope has pretty much been, we said we don't need his services no more. Like Nino Brown told that old boy outside of the Carter, your services is no longer needed. So could you break down why the Pope services is no longer needed over here on this side of the land?
Well, we never needed it. We never needed their services. They just killed off all of the ones of us that knew what needed to be done over here, so they can come in and act like somebody's savior. They not saving nobody. Look, I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again. If your God did not create you organic to somewhere on the planet, your God not from here. Your God is an extraterrestrial. Because if you're not from Earth, you something extra on Terra. You are extraterrestrial. So if your God is extraterrestrial, that makes him a foreigner. That makes him an alien. The organic God of the earth created a place for everybody to belong that's from the earth. And then told us to move around the earth and get to know each of the tribes so you'll know when something wrong. That's what our world history is supposed to be teaching us. How to have empathy with foreign cultures, so we not met with racism and discrimination, but they did it on purpose. Racism and discrimination is part of the doctrine of divide and conquer. Right? So they had to create the castes. And they used skin color and the brown paper bag test to determine that the caste would be enforced by complexion. When Scipico put the Pope on notice, and he responded by repealing the discovery doctrine. That's called the fruit of the poison tree doctrine. All of the treaties and all of the laws that was passed under the corporation being ran by the Pope. But they told us it was our government. It wasn't never our government. It's always been an occupying foreign force on the land. So the services of them ain't needed because we know how to run our own government now. We don't need them. We got the best people to put into place to fill the job until somebody either better come along or they train a replacement.
Hey, Rod, you said that the Pope, that they put, I'm going to post, it's a whole bunch of receipts that I got. But like on one of them receipts, you said that the Pope, they pulled him out from under the bed. right?
Yeah, yeah.
They got a dummy pope that they set up. Go ahead.
So they use holograms and they use Android, right? The Pope now, which we call the secondary Pope. Remember, it's two popes operating, two white popes operating at the same time. Right, one of them allegedly abdicated, but according to papal law, once you're the Pope till you die. Ain't no changing. All of a sudden, he gonna step down. He can't step down, or if he step down for real, he gonna get murdered. Because that's the papal rule. One of the bishops is supposed to cut his throat. If his throat not cut, that means he didn't step down for real. So when the other one, the android, come in, right? Then they put him up there because they trying to match it with the prophecy. That's why they made that movie to Two Popes.
Now you got the other pope. They say that's the black. They call him the Black Pope, the Jesuit, the leaders of the Jesuit Pope. Now, how does what do they play in the background? These Jesuits and these Black Popes, are they like the
Jesuits is the Secret Service of the Vatican. They the ones who do all the stuff that the Secret Service for the president of the corporation does. All the dirty work, the assassinations and all that kind of stuff. The Black Pope is over the Jesuit Society, which is the secret society of priests. They all ran by some dirty Moors. Y'all seen the Pope kissing their feet.
Right. And the Pope go bow to the Black Madonna in his secret room in the back. I got a pictures of it. The Pope kissing feet, kissing crusty feet too. I'm joking. Feet crusty. Tell you, man. That Pope is freaky guy, man. All right. So another thing, with the Vatican and the gold, and we heard that a while back that Donald Trump was some kind of way getting some gold hauled back on some aircraft carriers. And bringing that gold back from the Pope. And what is that connection with us? Like, as far as our wealth, natural wealth as indigenous people to the land, and connection with him getting that gold back from the Pope?
The people of the land had a repository called Fort Knox. Remember that?
Right.
Fort Knox. Right. Fort Knox is where we kept the finances to run government. When the corporation took over, they trying to figure out how to steal the gold. When they instituted the stock market crash in 1929, that was to make the federal government insolvent. So Franklin Roosevelt repealed gold. He ordered everybody to turn in all their gold. They took all this gold and gave it to the central banking system, called to later be known as the Federal Reserve, to establish a central banking cartel over here. Basically, they paid the enemy to come in and set up camp and control how we spend money. So when they went over there to shut down the Vatican with the Earth Alliance, they flew home 650 planes, cargo planes of the gold that they stole from us. Right. There's other people's gold that went home too. This 650 planes was the gold that they took from us. Right. So this is what took us off the gold standard and the gold back and the silver certificate notes. And that's how they've been robbing us ever since.
Wow. Hey, y'all, for the people that's in the audience, they will say, oh, yeah, when Raw doing this is a question and answer class. You could drop your question in the chat right now, and we'll take your questions. We'll be just, coming in clearing some things up because people was asking. It's a lot of questions they were asking on the tapes that we put out with Raw with the public service announcement, and Raw is pretty much telling y'all it's over with. But people still the only reason they ain't over with yet completely is because the people. Hey, Raw, this is my next question for you. Why is it important for the people to get what you're saying? Because that's indigenous to the land. Why is it important for them to get what you like saying about how this system is over? Go ahead.
This is because it's restoring our birthrights to us, and it's unlocking all of the wealth that we had. This is why a lot of us feel like we were supposed to be born rich, but we ain't. We in poverty, right? Because the wealth of the land belonged to the people of the land. The regulation of the land belongs to the mothers of the land. So all of the stuff they're doing with these toxic chemicals on the land, they got to stop. This is why it's important. Chopping down all of the trees, deforesting the nation, right? All that stuff had to come to an end. But if we don't become aware of what I'm talking about, we helpless, scattered to do anything about it. And that's why it's important to catch it. Go ahead, Elder.
Somebody is in the crowd said that what should we do with what about the jobs? How's the new job system? How are we going to get paid in this new system when everything's going to be the fiat's going to be gone?
So it's going to be the first thing that's going to be rolled out is finding housing for all of the homeless people. Should nobody have to live on the street unless they choose to. Right? That should be, when we used to pitch tents, they said we lived in them. We didn't live in tents. We was traveling across the land, and then with settlements, campsites. Right? We had castles all over the land, but when you traveling, right, and you using tents for your lodging, for your overnight stay. Excuse me. Pitch the camp. Set the camp up. Right? And this is why, like, when you watch the Westerns, it always seemed like some natives just popped up out of nowhere. Right? Because the way that the land is made, we have what was called travel routes. And the travel routes was cleared so we can get through from one side of the land to the other. Sometimes we use the waterways and boats, right? And canoes wasn't the only boats we had. The Mississippians had a navy, and they roamed the Mississippi River in the Gulf of Mexico. That was their patrols. Well, we don't remember none of this stuff because they systematically took it out of the books, but some of the books are still around.
Hey, Maurice, shout out Maurice Coopy, man. It says, how close are we to the 100 monkey effect taking place with this information?
It still has to be, we still have to get to critical mass. The 100 monkey effect, it's going to take more people because we got a larger population than the 100 monkeys. So I can't tell you how close we is, but when it pop, it's going to erupt. Everything going to just start spilling out.
It's that Dirt Coast podcast said that who really is Big Meech on the land? What? Because they hear people calling Big Meech chief on the land, and so who is really Big Meech on the land?
So Big Meech is what we would call in ancient times a prince trainer. We needed him at this time to return to teach the boys how to live with opulent wealth. When you give poor people a whole lot of wealth, they don't hold on to it long because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to live with it. Some of them kill themselves because of the stuff that comes along with it. So Big Meech was using the avenue of drug sales to accumulate the wealth to be able to form his spiritual duties. Reason why he was forced into the drug trade is because we was at war the whole time. He had to figure out a way to get rich. But that's what he was doing with the BMF. He was teaching these young boys how to carry themselves when they start getting money. You know, how to be considerate of the other brothers that you working with and how to work as a team so we can stop losing all the time. This is why the real reason they wanted him off the street had nothing to do with the dope, because the government bring more dope over here than Big Meech could sell in a lifetime. So it can't be about dope.
That's who he was getting it from. He was getting it from them the Alphabet Boys. They the ones that was, they was the plug.
Same with Ricky Ross.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
And you know, the same cop that was put on Biggie case was the same cop, Russell Poole, that blew the Iran-Contra out the water.
Wow.
Caught the CIA in South Central LA, and that's how he got to be called LA's top cop. That's why they gave him Biggie case, because he was LA's top cop.
Wow, that makes sense. I'm gonna do a documentary on Big Meech and how the CIA really was. They knew who he was. They really was mad that really the Killer Clowns really took him down, and he didn't even tell on them boys. He didn't even tell on the Alphabet Boys. He took the rap and took 30. Go ahead.
He wasn't in there to tell.
Go ahead.
Big Meech is he's from a certain area that teach guys a certain way to move a certain way. Right? He need to take the silver lining out of this sewer drain, and then he got to figure out how to apply it to his life mission. Teach these boys how to live with this money without killing each other all the time. You know, you got notorious groups like YBI had infighting. You had the Pony Down, they had infighting. Best friends, they started killing each other. So he's looking at this growing up, and he was like, ain't none of the OGs telling these guys it's enough money for all of us to get rich if we move in a certain way. If we understand that there's money, don't let it go to your head, because they can take it at a moment's notice, right? But while we got it, this is how we gonna live. They don't never go into all of the how he was getting people off the street, dudes that was 14, 15, 16, 17, runaways, homeless, can't get along with their family, falling out with the neighborhood. And all of a sudden now they can go back and have a conversation with their parents. They can go back and mellow out the beef in their hood. All this is Big Meech was doing in real time, but they only want to focus on the so-called dope dealer side. He wasn't using that money just to line his pockets and to be selfish with it.
He gave it out.
Them boys will tell you that if it was a car in the driveway, the one on the end, give me the keys. I don't care if it was a Lamborghini, Ferrari, a Rolls Royce. It's the one on the end. I need to go to the whatever I'm gotta go do. Give me the keys.
Right.
They want to argue and say, "Oh no, you can't drive the Porsche. Go get the Mustang." They wasn't doing that.
Nah, they wasn't doing it. Everybody got a Ferrari. You with Big Meech, everybody got a Ferrari.
Right, because he's telling them that ain't nobody bigger than all of us together. Ain't no big guys and no little U's. If we a team, and we gonna move like this. right? He ain't the only one that was doing what he was doing, but he was just better at it than everybody else. So you want the best person for the job to perform the function. Growing up, seeing what he was seeing, he don't like it. And how do you know he don't like it? Because he adjusted and made a compensation to correct the problem. With the other OGs that he came up under didn't never correct the problem, then it falls on the next generation to solve the problem. Beef is inherited, even if it's a spiritual beef, which is the one we fight. If you find somebody squeaky clean to be our leader, can we please go find him so I can go sit down?
Hey, right, Rod. Hey,
find somebody ain't never did no dirt that they want to follow, and he be competent to take us somewhere. I'm gonna bag his place so I can disappear. I don't like all this public BS, Elder. This is for the people. It ain't for me. I had my life how I wanted it. This ain't for me. This for the people. I'm not. I just so happen to train myself in a certain way out of curiosity. I wanted to know everything that the enemy was doing.
Right.
They already had shut the doors in my face because I ain't had no PhDs and I wasn't a member of no secret society. Oh, you definitely don't know what the hell you talking about. You ain't got no alphabets. They all shut the door in my face, told me I was crazy. So I just started talking on social media because it was the path of least resistance to get the information out the easiest.
Hey, Rod. Before we go to this next question, I need to ask you this question. Now, we know that Jeff Fort, Larry Hoover, and Dr. Malachi Z. York is locked up in the same prison. And everybody they keep posting. I think this behind what you started, the Three Kings walking. Three Kings must walk, right? Could you break down on why the Three Kings must walk? Go ahead.
So they came over on the Pinta, the Nina, and the Santa Maria, 3 ships, Admiralty and Maritime. If you want to go from the Admiralty jurisdiction, you have to apply the reverse conjure. The reverse conjure of the 3 ships sailing is the 3 chiefs walking. It's the reverse of what they did to us to put us in the condition that gets us out the condition. This is why they don't want us to sing them. Right? Because they know if Malachi come home, he gonna give you the whole story and all of the dirty players in the setup. They know if Larry come home, he gonna tell you all of the dirty players that set him up. They know if Angel Bay come home, he not finna tell y'all shit. He finna start collecting soldiers from all tribes. I'm just telling you now. He don't want to talk. He feel like he said enough in the 70s that he shouldn't have to say nothing 40 years, 50 years later. That's just how he feel. So in his job, this is why he called himself El Rookin.
So with therapy,
board is the military arm of government. He was supposed to be the law of the land. This is why he was ready to take the fake government to war. But you know, it's always some Negroes that throw us under the bus. They look like us, but they ain't us.
That's right. They not like us. They not like us. Hey, look, let me ask you this, because they framed all these guys. We already know that was set up. But the next question they had, because you, when I met you, you came in and you was I was studying the anarchy stuff, and you came in and say, man, you got to watch Enlil. No, like everybody, because nobody was really talking about Enlil was the bad guy. They were saying Inky was the bad guy. And nobody really was pointing out that, oh, yeah, you got to watch this dude Enlil. He didn't really want the one that's the bad guy. could you break down? Because somebody asked in the chat, they said, "Who are the Anunnaki, and is they really for us?" Go ahead.
The Anunnaki is for the hybrid offspring that's on the earth, period. They only care about them. They call us their Lulu, meaning they servants. To them, they see us as pets. So when I start going in on the Anunnaki, you know, Inky feelings get hurt, but he know I'm right. So he sent me message saying, Inky. Because remember, Inky the one gave us all the keys to freedom if we activate certain stuff in the DNA. He did that behind Enlil back. Remember when Baba was saying that Inky violated the rules of Anu, the orders of Anu. So he couldn't side with Inky because he went against Anu also. That's because he gave us what's called ascension potential. The ascension potential is governed by the solar rays. And this is the same that ties into the one drop of blood. All we have to do is learn the required self-discipline and learn to bump straight. And the UV rays is going to take care of the rest. The rays that came in from the center of the galaxy during the Muhurta, the Schumann resonance, that's going to take care of all of the upgrades necessary for us to be on the same level playing field with them mentally and spiritually. Right? They never wanted us to have that spiritual development on Earth because the Earthling natural language is telepathy, which means high spiritual power when you're talking about universal description. So they already knew that we were spiritually powerful. And if they mess around and interject their Anunnaki blood into us, it's going to make us more powerful than them. And they knew it. So Inky went ahead and infused them with what starts off as the worship gene. But the next phase after worship is a self-God complex. Right? And with this, it plays out in your character as an earthling, as an entitlement to have the things that look like royalty of the earth, what we call wealth. So you feel like you're entitled to it, but you don't know what it takes to acquire it. You don't know what the steps is, because they got all these signs and symbols posted everywhere for a reason. From your ancient petroglyphs to your hieroglyphs to your modern day store sign, all of them is feeding signs and symbols into the subconscious mind. The more of them you see, the more you begin to learn how to interpret their language, which is symbolism, which is what I did. Now you don't have no contracts to hold nobody's secret. You can come and tell the people exactly what they're doing. They was using the contracts in the secret societies to keep a lot of the elders quiet under the threat of death. So even in the families, when they found out that they were still teaching it in the household, he was getting lynched. Lynchings was not just, we're going to go out tomorrow and lynch us some niggers. The lynchings was strategic. It was key elders and people that they taught too much. They know too much. Get them off the land lest they teach the rest of them. Remember, it was illegal for us to be literate. Most of the ones, the strange fruit was literate people that wouldn't go for their sharecropping terms. They wouldn't go for their management agreements. None of that. They didn't want to do any business with this foreign entity. So they had to get rid of them. Lynching wasn't just racism. We think it was racism, it was warfare. All of the elders that was coming up, they didn't charter them by astrology. They know when they coming back. Then they looking at the longitude and latitude. This is why you got to be a good navigator, because you got to read the longitude and the latitude of the birthplace. And then you got to read the stellar alignments for the birth date. And then you got certain key elements that you look for very specific people. They got all this stuff written down in secret societies and manuals and grimoires. The blood magic rituals is the worst one they used on us because it was the most potent. This is how the original Kingu spell was done the same way as the Crispus Attucks blood right constitution spell. They was the same. They reiterated it, so if you break one, you break them both. And Enlil never lost, so we gonna have visitors coming from places that we don't even know exist. Because he been doing this stuff for a long time. But what Johnny Cash say? You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later gonna cut you down.
Yeah, I like Johnny Cash. I like some of his songs. Yeah. Like, don't take your guns to town. Don't take your guns to town, Bill. Don't take your guns to town. Hey, somebody got some more questions. Now, it says, so how are we older than the Anunnakis? Somebody asked that question.
We really...
I don't think we are older in our modern form, but spiritually, all of the planets come from prime creator source spirit energy, and all of the people organic to a planet was coming with first creation. Some of these Anunnakis are genetic hybrids of different people that made new energy patterns for spirit. And those were what you call your younger races. Then they figured out that they can make new spirit energy by mixing different species to make more powerful beings. And then they learned how to, what they call hijack the avatar. How to walk into the avatar. What's the movie with the lady, The Sunken Place? Put you in the sunken place.
Are you talking about it's called Get Out?
Yep. Yeah, that's a Anunnaki conjure magic tool to hijack the avatar when you're in a distant place and you need to do business somewhere else.
Yeah, the master teacher talked about that, how these beings can hijack your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is what they call demon possession. But the whole thing is it's not really a demon possession. It's more like I got an app on my iPhone that matched the app on your Android. So I can tap into your phone, your Android, use it, and you never knew it from my iPhone. And then when you look at your phone, you be like, man, I just had a full battery. Now it's down to 7%. What happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you wake up, you be still fatigued. People be telling you all of this effed up stuff you did. And you be like, well, I don't remember none of that because it wasn't you. You got a whole bunch of people in prison that happened to.
Right, that's right. they said they blacked out, or some took over. They went red. They use these terms about how it wasn't me. Then they come back to it, like they really be feeling like, dang, I wish I could go back and that wasn't me. You know, that type of thing.
Yep.
Hey, somebody asked, what do you think about the coming of a black Messiah and a Christ to save our people? Or do you still believe in that factor, or is that even any truth to that from your perspective?
The only Messiah you're looking for is one in your family. Everybody's family got a family redeemer that's coming to break the generational curses on the rest of the family. Ain't no one, ain't no one chosen one. Look, anytime a guy told you he chose somebody over everybody else, that's some divide and conquer. God is not a respecter of persons. Ain't no big eyes and no little U's when you dealing with the real God. But when you dealing with demigods or men of renown, men of valor who feel like you less than them, they gonna tell you that they was. It's called the ancient right of kings. Look it up. The ancient right of kings. This is what they're using to justify doing whatever they want to do to you, and you're not even classified in the same category of existence. They looking at us the way that the chimpanzee look at a monkey. They don't see us the same as them, right? Now they would be better if they seen us how the chimpanzee and the gorilla view each other, because they both know that's a dangerous motherfucker over there. I'm not finna go over there because the gorilla looking at is too many of them in that troop, and the chimpanzee looking at them Negroes too big. Right? It's gonna take the whole. We don't know what the loss is gonna be when we get done. They tell us the giant stories, but we done lived in every potentiality that you can think of. That's why you can think of it. You already did it. If you ain't never done it before, you can't have a prophecy about it. But we in cycles within cycles. We're trying to flip out the infinity loop. Right? When the spiritual energy and the physical energy is closest together, we can make the flip. That's what happened at the Mahurta. Right? All of these different names that's titles, people don't understand that some of these names and titles is ancient positions that's the original hierarchy of the planet.
We got another question for Brother Rod. Ms. Starr says, how we supposed to move with all the financial fraud being exposed about our birth certificate and having no value?
Look, when Big Mama Bank come online, we gonna be all right. We just need to let this old system die first. Step back and let it fall if you can. But you got to know that you got to move according to your position, your responsibilities, how many people you taking care of, how much of the system you can cut off and still take care of them people. Right? It's logistics involved in separating from the system. But most of us don't want to go through the logistics because they feel like it's doing too much. So I had to go through it to show them that if you don't do it, you won't end up getting where we going. You have to separate, but you have to figure out you can either wait till it totally collapse while other people trickling out, or you can accelerate it by being one of the ones who strategize your way out of the system. And you know you out of it when nothing that you do requires you to have to sign nothing. Your signature is your oath.
Hey, the guy, he asked, does jurisdiction matter when getting our land back for property tax?
Yeah, jurisdiction always applies.
Making great tires matters.
For property tax.
Yeah, jurisdiction always applies. Right? So when you talking about being organic to the land, your jurisdictional position is sovereign. Sovereign right holds superior jurisdiction over national rights, corporate right, contract right, Sovereign right reigns supreme over all that.
Hey, what is Enlil's connection with the Pope? Or is Enlil in bed with the Pope? Cause we have, cause it seemed like to me, man, when I've been putting it together, especially when I was talking to Mother Sophia Stewart, cause we was like brainstorming for like 2 hours on the phone. And I thought about it, man. The people that's telling the story of the Bible is really the nomos. They writing about the Anarchies. So they writing the Anarchies. Well, I guess they could say they write them in the good light and the bad light, really. But it's like the Bible is being told from not from the Anarchies perspective, but from the nomos. They were the ones looking up when Enlil and them came down, like looking up out of the water, because it was they was under the water. So, and if you look at the religious concept based on the astronomy and esoterical, the way that esoterical dealing with the sun and 12 stars, all that. And the Pope wearing a fish hat, and these cardinals dressed like birds, calling themselves birds or whatever. What is the connection between Enlil and the Pope? Is the Pope in bed with Enlil?
Enlil, remember I told you Enlil married a lizard chick from the Mirrorverse.
Okay.
With inverted genetics that breed like seahorses.
Go ahead.
Right. The lizard was living under the Vatican until 2020. The Statue of Liberty is an anthropomorphized version of the same being. This is why they under the Vatican, because they supplanters. But in the ancient text, they called the archives. And they had a human hybrid race. Those was Enlil's children that was living in Switzerland. They all gone now. It was a lot of them. But that was your Amun priests. Now you got to ask me how I know they gone.
How you know they gone?
Because they've been given tours of the underground tunnels that they used to live in.
Yeah, I seen that, Rod. I seen it. And they've been doing it for a while now, so they must have been gone for a while. They've been touring that place probably since like 2000, the early 2000, like maybe before that. When you heard of that?
The major underground installation, they just started touring that in 2021.
Oh, okay.
2022. Okay. The Earth Alliance and Interpol are the ones that went into Switzerland.
Okay.
And if you go back, we did a video when I showed you the receipt.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it.
So they went back. They went in there and they rounded them all up. Now, remember they told us that it was a meteor shower in Antarctica. They was playing the video backwards. There wasn't people coming to Earth. Them was people leaving Earth. They was playing the video in reverse.
Wow, they good. They good. Hey, Rod. Now, for the guy that's asking, William Sanders, I think Sanders is tied in with the Muskogee. Keep in mind, I already put the ancestral tape out with the last names. But we're gonna ask Rod this too, though.
Just get the book. Get that book, 500 Tribes.
Okay.
It's gonna show you what all tribes was and what part of the land. And this is why I say we wasn't all Moors, because different tribes have different belief systems, different structures, different marital rights, different birth rights, different ways in which some of them monogamous, some of them polygamous. You got different clans all over the land. Get the book 500 Tribes, or you can just Google the indigenous map of the Americas before 1492, and it'll come right up under images, and it'll
Yeah.
show you all of these tribes names plotted across the map where Columbus came. But guerrilla wars.
Yeah, that land, Arkansas was definitely Washita land. I mean, Louisiana, it was part of the Louisiana Purchase, wasn't it, Rod?
Yep. Everything
So,
west of the Appalachians, east of the Rockies was the Louisiana Purchase going up into Canada. Most of us don't know that Canada and America got the same QSIP number. That means it's
right.
owned by the same corporation, doing business under the same QSIP identification.
Wow, that's fire. That's fire. So and then he said this dude said his family migrated to Oklahoma. They had slaves. And your slaves probably because you know that tape that me and Roy put out how the slave trade was faked. And Dame Calloway got a book called It Was Told in Reverse. I got that book too. Yeah, but that's another question we got for you, Rod. Now, because everybody's still pointing the finger at the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and they saying that, oh yeah, no, Rod talking about some dark guys, and no, the real guys is Rothschilds and the 13 families. Could you break down that those guys, how those guys are really puppets and who they really work for? The guys that's hiding over in Morocco in the desert. Go ahead. They look like us, but they ain't us with crusty feet.
The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Saxons, those were all hand-picked families by the what we call the Black Hand, the Black nobility, the Amun priests, the ones you can't see, right? They was chosen for the purposes of giving us the perception that all of the rich people of the world was pale faces. It was perception that they was working on. They carry actual paperwork on behalf of the dirt they was doing. According to the UCC, they have to, everything that they collected, they had to account. This is why they was using the central banking system, and the Rothschilds was the ones holding the allodial title that leveraged the banks to do their bidding. If you go and look and examine them, you will find out that not one Rothschild owned nothing. Everything is in a trust. The Rockefellers is in the trust too, right? The Morgans, that's all in the trust. They all own the banks, but they don't own nothing. Because when you trace it back to the central banking system, they got what's called the unknown board of trustees, which is the stakeholders. There's no pictures of the stakeholders anywhere to be found. But you can still continue to follow the money to the major accounts of the world. The world, they got a name for it that they use, Sesqui Trust, right? When they was stealing your stuff, they was not allowed to use it themselves. So they had to stockpile things that don't perish, which is gold, silver, diamonds, precious metals, right? Precious stones. We got crystals that cost thousands of dollars. You got crystals more expensive than diamonds.
Right.
But we don't know about that kind of stuff. Right? And then as intellectual property, if you make it into a piece of jewelry, you increase the value exponentially because now it's got a signature to it, a spiritual signature. Because somebody used their creative potential to produce the artifact. So the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers is what's called a cat's paw. You use a cat's paw when you don't want to get your own hands dirty. That means somebody else is working on your behalf, doing the stuff you need done, so you don't never have to take the fall for doing it.
somebody asked Rod, for your perspective, do you think that our land, I guess they meant in like United States, using our land as the front, right? And they thinking that if we get into a nuclear war with Russia or anybody, how does that affect our land? And with them being just 10 by 10 square miles, U.S. corps, and then while we get blown off the map, they just yeah, the business we out of business. So how does that work? With the nuclear, when you got China, everybody got nuclear warheads, and a lot of them facing us, because we had pissed up United States Corps and pissed so many guys off and robbed so many guys, and just really criminals. They criminals, really. They were set up by criminals. The four founding fathers are all criminals. So, how does that play out by this being our land and we indigenous to the land? These suckers come over here and everything's really getting put on our back. Even the national debt, all this is all on our back. Once we wake up and figure out what the hell is going on, and how do we assess this matter? As far as the nuclear, everybody got nuclear weapons and shit.
Do you know what a scare tactic is?
Indeed, go ahead.
We ain't about to have no nuclear war.
That's what I'm not finna do.
We've done that already.
Go ahead.
We're not finna do that again. All this stuff y'all seeing right now, a bunch of people getting evicted and they running down to the door bluffing.
If you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna I'll pull the button.
We ain't about to have no nuclear war. If they drop a nuclear bomb, the only place it's gonna get hit is what we call today Gaza.
The Gaza Strip.
Modern day Israel. That's the only place on the planet that it would be allowed right now for somebody to drop a nuclear bomb.
Wow.
Just the only place where mass genocide to this magnitude with this spotlight on it. They got a couple of them they trying to do in Africa. Africa ain't finna have no nuclear war. Them Africans, don't nobody want to bomb Africa with nuclear bombs. The African nations don't go around the world pissing people off. So they not finna drop nothing over there they finna make the Africans stand up and stop the Holocaust themselves. They not finna, the Arabs is not gonna stop this Holocaust in the Middle East because they in bed with the Zionists. We'll keep forgetting that Islam was wrote by the Catholic Church.
Right.
The same is the same as what we call Judaism was written by the Catholic Church. That's the backstory to the story they was telling.
That's right.
When they put the Bible together in 325, wasn't no Old Testament. The Old Testament was added later because they needed a backstory.
That's right. People don't know that. Hey, I got a question for you, Roy. We'll take this question from Paul first if he super chatted. It says, how do we know if we are anarchy or organic to the land with all the mixing of the bloodline?
This is a personal development issue at this point. You know where you from because you know where you feel like you belong. The problem is a lot of us didn't feel like we belonged under the condition we was under. Because none of us belonged under those conditions. But when the conditions start to improve, you're gonna know if you feel like you from Earth or not. When Earth started moving back into the right Earth frequency, it's driven by the frequency of the sisters, like Tesla coils all over the planet. as the mitochondria begin to react to the resonance of Earth, you ain't gonna know. You gonna know where you. Because one thing about it, if you don't belong here, Earth is gonna turn you off.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they keep warning everybody about the Great Solar Flash, right? So if you ain't from Earth when it sends out the cleanse pulse, you're not gonna be here. I don't care what you look like.
Would you still go to your?
I got another question for you, Roy. This right here is a good one. Now everybody was talking about reparations and us getting paid for our conference. They say we were slaves. We know that was a fraud. The slave thing was a fraud. Now this is the thing. United States Corporation, they paying everybody but us. They pay the Jews, in Israel. They give them money every year. They give them money every year to keep the secret. The secret they're keeping is about who we are really. But they don't want. They say they call and threaten them every certain amount of years. Say if y'all don't keep on paying us, we gon' really the Israelis extorting the United States out of money and to keep the secret. And they get paid. The Israel getting. They send them tanks. They send them all kind of weapons to protect themselves. They send them aircraft carriers. Even the $5 Indian is getting paid over here. Everybody's getting paid by these guys who robbed us, but us. They even paying. They paying the Israelis. They were paying everybody. They even paying the Japanese from when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. They still get paid. People don't even know that. From when the United States Corporation dropped the bomb on them, because they sued them. They sued them in world court when they dropped that bomb, and United States been paying them, but why ain't we getting paid? What's the problem? Why everybody else they paying everybody else on our backs, and we not getting paid right now for reparations? Go ahead.
All of those places got something that we don't got. All those places have a representing national body. Well, the Senate and the Congress don't work for us. This is the hardest part for us to get. The Senate and the Congress don't work for us. The Supreme Court don't work for us. The military-industrial complex doesn't work for us. The central banks doesn't work for us. None of them work for us. The U.S. corporation is now defunct. It's been resolved in bankruptcy court. It's gone. It's over. We still sitting here thinking it's business as usual. We watching the fairy tales they tell us on nightly news and swear we informed. And all the time on nightly news, they code flipping in your face, behind your back, talking to each other about what's taking place on the land, but they ain't using terms and symbols that you understand. They're talking over your head like grown folks talk over babies. So we don't need reparations. We need our stuff back. That's what we need. Because once they give us our stuff back, they won't be able to find anywhere to get a reparation from.
Right, damn right.
So you got these people running around fighting for reparations. I don't want reparations. I want my birthright.
Right.
Because your reparations is a drop in the bucket to my birthright.
Yeah, the bowl of soup analogy. The bowl of soup versus your birthright. They want to get. They can't give us no cash. What we gonna do with paper money anyway? They can't. They gonna pay you paper and paper money.
We watching the banking system collapse in real time, and we don't even know we watching it.
Go ahead, Roy. Go ahead. Go in on this.
Look, they didn't put the bill in to dissolve the Federal Reserve. That's already been proposed at this fake Congress stage show they got going on. They didn't already, the World Economic Fund, who was the allied to the federal bank, the Klaus Schwab stepped down, right? So all of the decision makers behind the scenes got to step down. All this stuff is over with. The stage show comes to an end. And if they give you reparations, they have to give it to you in fiat that has no value in the new system where the gold currency will reign supreme over the fiat decreed money that had no value. We won't need inflation to maintain the artificial appearance of value to the currency. Therefore, prices are going to plummet. Just by erasing inflation alone, prices is going to plummet. What's not going to plummet is the pay scale. Because we already know that the pay scale for workers is only a percentage of the value of each worker, no matter what profession they're working in.
Hey, we got a couple of hitters there. Them Counting Like More guys. They say, hey, what's the difference? Is it a difference between birthright and nationality, or is it the same thing? Or indigenous and sovereignty? What's the difference between these things? Because people saying, "Oh yeah, I got to nationalize," and they're not knowing that they putting themselves into a system, a certain type of paradigm, still by associating themselves with a corporation. Go ahead. Right.
A national is a legal fiction. All nations of the earth is governed by uniform commercial code, right? Every nation is a business. Nationality is the right to do business in the name of the nation that you from, or the corporation that you represent. Your sovereign right supersede national identity anywhere in the known universe. Your sovereign right is the superior right that comes with your birthright. Your national rights comes with your allegiance to a nation, right? Nations before these corporations hijacked them used to be family structures called tribes, clans, gangs, right? But now, under the Uniform Commercial Code, in order to do business and make a living, you have to nationalize. You have to become a part of a nation, a citizen. Your citizenship is your straw man status because no corporation can do business with the flesh and blood person. So your straw man has to be your representative as a national. That's your citizenship status. Your national status is your right to form a straw man. Yep. So the Saudis dropping the petrodollar, the U.S. as the petrodollar, was the final death blow to the Federal Reserve System, because when they was forcing everybody to trade in U.S. currency for the Saudi oil, then it gave an artificial value to the dollar, leveraging gold oil sales as currency adjustment rates.
Hey, so now, because we put this called Run Tell the Pope, because you know how we had to put them catchy topics. Now, what happens to the Roman Empire? Is the Roman Empire, because we know that the Pope is connected with DC and London, because it's like the three things that they talk about, like the three stars, the three states. Yeah. So how does that play a part with London and DC, the military arm? We see that they auctioned and selling off all the military equipment. Is that military equipment ours, or is it theirs? United States Corporation. They bought it on our backs. It's those tanks and all them aircraft carriers and stuff that they were building on our dime. Is that ours? Do they have the right to auction it off? like they was auctioning off the shit off in when they left all that equipment over in what's that was Afghanistan or somewhere, and them guys just took it over. $300 billion worth of equipment. And so do they have the right to auction off? We heard that they sell in interstates and they put tollways on our interstates now. Because, you know, it goes all the way back to George Bush and them and the steel company and all that. It's deep. But can they do they have the right to auction off this equipment, the Pope now, and our interstates? Go ahead.
Look, so in bankruptcy, the court give you an opportunity to settle the debt by liquidating your asset. This is what you see them attempting to do. They didn't have any right over here in the first place. This is where the problem comes in. We didn't ask them to come over here. They came intrusively. They were not invited. They set up shop on the land after we told them not to, right? And they used the bullet to do it, right? So while they was using force to expand their empire across the land, we didn't just lay down and take it. Contrary to popular opinion, we ain't never stopped fighting. It's just that war evolves. This is the part most people are oblivious to. War evolves based on the output of the bloody war. It's going to have to go into a ceasefire. So now the war is in the phase where it went from the soldiers on the battlefield fighting to the medicine men and sorcerers fighting.
Facts.
Right? So it went from the physical war to the spiritual warfare. They was kicking our ass in physical war, but we was kicking theirs too. Right? When both sides begin to be depleted, both sides calling for a ceasefire at the same time. They gave everything back in the Indigenous Rights Act. That's where it's written that they gave it back. They got a United States Indigenous Rights Act, and they have a United Nations Indigenous Rights Act. Don't care which one of them you read, they said we had a right to the wealth of the land. They didn't say that we suggest the right. They didn't say we think it might happen. They gave it back and put it on paper. I just got to tell you where to find it so that you could see that I know what I'm talking about. The trick was we had to use our oral tradition, which is also written in there. Once we use our oral tradition, then one of the rightful heirs using the royal tradition to reclaim the land, they have to give us the documents that supports their theft or that they use to catalog the theft, which is the treaties, which is the alloidial title, right? We didn't write no titles to the land. That's all European nobility record-keeping process. So, if we winning, they're going to send one of them families to give us the alloidial title. Well, we won when they gave us the alloidial title.
Right.
Right? They gave it to Empress Rarebird. She didn't know me and I didn't know her, but I was just consistently following the oral tradition. And they have to give the tribal mother with a particular blood right the paperwork. The paperwork is to trap us. When they surrender it, that's surrendering their traps. It's giving us the keys to the trap. The local communities are going to have to institute programs to bring them into the community so that they don't have to be indulging in criminal behavior. But some of them gonna get murdered. I'm gonna tell you that now. Some of them just gonna die because we not finna let nobody sit in prison for 50 years. If he did something to get 350 years in prison and he not functional in the street, he gonna get done away with. Some of them people in prison are not functional in the street without causing problems for the rest of the people. But for the rest of them, the majority of them, about 95% of them, are going to have community programs to welcome them back, to bring them back into the community.
Hey, we got about 13 minutes. We'll take about 2 or 3 more questions, man. We've been on, boy, we're going to run an hour and a half. We're going to come back, though. We're getting it back cracking now. We're getting back rolling on these lives, y'all. Hey, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, the brother Rod don't do it for money, but if you want to show him some love on the Cash App, it's DSkype8, SIKAPE, DSkype8. We got it right there in the chat if you want to show him some love. We got about 1,300 people on. We think we might have had about 4,000 people.
Today we're going to be trying the Dave's
people on tonight. Everybody send them $1. Send them something, man. Show them some love, man. You know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button too, y'all. We'll take a couple more questions before we got here. Like I said, we got about 12 minutes. Anybody got any? Let's see, we got some exclusives. It says they are extorting us out of our own money on our own land. Remember the scene and leave the world behind.
Yeah. Why do you think that scene? Why do you think that scene was in the movie?
Go ahead.
Think about it. Go to the title of the movie, Leave the World Behind. I haven't watched the movie, but he mentioned that it's a scene in Leave the World Behind about them extorting us out of our own money. First of all, it got to be your money in order for you to be extorted. They can't extort you out of something you don't got, which makes this a form of racketeering, which is a RICO violation. And the corporation is not immune from prosecution if he's being pursued by a sovereign, but a national can't sue him. Unless he consent.
Now, during what do you think about the immigrants? Them bringing all the immigrants into America? Now that
that's part of the stage show. Look, this is the most coveted land on earth with the most coveted bloodlines. Everybody that's coming over here, no matter what they say out their mouth, coming over here because they love the people of this land. You looking at these immigrants, they got the terrorists watch program and all this stuff trying to put fear in us. When we all rich, who gonna work? When we all get our rightful inheritance from the land and everybody rich, who's gonna work at McDonald's? Who gonna go to who gonna work at the auto factories? And to take slavery out of it, you properly compensate the people for their labor, and then it won't be so miserable. Right? You got some people that's gonna get rich that work certain jobs, they're not gonna leave their jobs until it's time to retire. Because their work family is the family that they love the most. So they rather go to work and drink coffee with Susie and Bobby every morning than stay at home and drink coffee with Uncle Bobby and Aunt Susie. Right? So they have a work family and then they got a home family. And there's more people that get along better with their work family than get along with their birth family. But then those used to be family businesses a long time ago. The hard way.
Yeah.
They gonna feed these Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, GDs, BDs, Black Souls. They gonna feed them Latin Kings, Latin Count, Satan Disciples, Satan Disciples. They gonna be feeding. They gotta have some food. They need to be able to take all that aggression that was pointed at each other out on the right enemy. Trump's role is to play a buck dancing clown while he tear the whole system down from the inside. That's his job. He was picked by the hip hop community in New York.
Man, Trump being on like people don't know Trump being on these dudes before he even became president. He was after the mob. Dudes before he even became president, he was after the mob on stealing the Native American land. He been after these guys, man. I'm telling you, bro. Like people don't like Trump because you know why? They think that the media, they believe everything the media say about Trump, like about how he a racist. Now we know his background. But it's like the people that's really promoting it is the people that's been against us the whole time. The people that's promoting Trump, that he's a bad guy, this and that. Right? And I'm gonna tell you, left wing white folks, man, the whole time Obama was in office, they was making fun of him the whole time. They was being, and then come to find out he was with them too. He was with the with the guys that was the deep state guys that's in on the whole nine. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Judge Joe Brown got an interview he just did about the Trump case.
Go ahead.
Right? And he was talking about the vested interest the judge had, the vested interest that the judge's wife had, the vested interest the judge's daughter had in the case. It also comes out that a day before the verdict came out, there was a leak in the jury room. That's an automatic mistrial, right? There's a social media account of somebody who claimed to be a cousin of one of the jurors saying we finally got Trump, his ass guilty. They were still deliberating. The deliberation wasn't supposed to be in till the next day.
Wow.
Right? And then on the heels of that, Young Thug judge get caught with the prosecutor trying to buffalo a witness into violating his Fifth Amendment right and testify in court. He got caught. Why is this important? Right? If you're going to prove that they are fraud, you have to drag their fraud out in the open so that the people stop guessing. You don't have to listen to me no more tell you that the whole court system is a fraud. They've been doing this fraudulent BS the whole time. Right? So all you got to do is watch now. This is enough to make them have to throw Young Thug case out and Trump case. See, it's in court, it's a reversible error if a prosecutor make a mistake. It's a reversible error if the defense make a mistake. But for judicial impropriety, there's only one remedy in law: dismissal. You can't be held under an unbiased fiduciary, is what it's called. Every fiduciary is supposed to be an unbiased agent in the court, which I don't understand how that's possible when he a bar member, the prosecutor a bar member, and the defense attorney a bar member. So the overriding priority of the court is to uphold the integrity of the bar. It's even in they bar license documents.
That's right.
They rules and regulations for being a member of the bar. Rule number 1, uphold the bar at all times. So if the integrity of the bar is to get you off the street, they're going to get you off the street whether your lawyer agree or disagree, because you still got to fight against the prosecutor and the judge. But most of the time, he's going to shuffle your case with other cases to sell you out and convince you to plead guilty.
That's right.
This is what's making the court system immensely lucrative now, because everybody's taking guilty pleas. Nobody's fighting with jury trials anymore. So now they don't have to come out of pocket with all that money for a jury trial. So now they can take a frivolous case and fight it harder to get you more time for a petty theft than the dude that committed the murder and went to trial got. He killed somebody. They gave him 2 to 5 for manslaughter. You stole a candy bar. You got 12 to 25 for theft.
Right. That's deep.
Right. Just because there's an inequity in the courts. You have to see it in order for you to know that they don't belong here. The judges are the tribe of Judah. They told you that in their Bible. And they operate by the lawgivers under Levi. The tribe of Levi is the Levi.
Right.
And the lean is the anagram for Enlil. So they telling you the whole time who behind it, but because we don't know what they doing, because we don't know they secret society languages, we are just sitting on the outside watching them in our face, behind our back. Yep, all courts are banks. They all tied in to accounting groups. The barristers is the legal side of the lords, is the governors of the land side of the royal families in Europe. The esquires are the ones who work under the barristers. Yep. We already put the bar on notice. I had to capture the first charter, which was issued in Savannah, Georgia by King George II, I think. I thought it was King George III, but when I look back at my notes, it was King George II in 1863, I think it was.
Which is his like granddad or something like that. It's his granddad, King George III granddad. And they were all dark-skinned Negroes. I'm telling you.
Yep. In their first charter, it tell you why they came.
Hey, could you go in on that a little bit before you close out? Go ahead.
One day we're going to go over the charter. But in the charter, it's basically telling them to steal everything that the people from the land have. It's telling the lawyers to do that. It's not telling the bankers to do it, because the lawyers is going to use the banks. And the banks is the courts. And what we call in banks are what we call branches. All crimes are commercial. That's in their law. Their law say that. All crime is, that means that it's a financial enterprise. It's something for making money. It's a commercial endeavor. That's why all of the banks got commercials, and the lawyers. It used to be illegal for a lawyer to advertise. Think about that for a minute. Now they all over the news. 1-800-CALL-SAM.
Hey, man, we made it to that mark. We about to get out of here. Me and the brother Raw are going to be back for another one, y'all, probably as soon as possible. Like I said, I got Mother Sophia Stewart is going to be coming on the show probably either sometime this week or next week, as soon as I get her a date. So you want to tune in for that. We might even get Rod on with her and get Rod on with Mama T and Rod. That's going to be a hit right there, Mama T and Rod.
That's my girl. I introduced her to you on the live over here.
Yeah, you did. And I got in touch with her on through TikTok. So now that I got TikTok going, we're gonna be bringing more guests. And like I say, Mama T, she be dropping the T. So we're gonna bring her on, let her do her thing. And Mother Sophia Stewart, the author, writer, and creator of The Matrix, we're gonna be coming on and promoting her books. Also, she got her books for you can get them through Cash App. We're gonna be setting all that up, letting you know about that, about how to get her books.
She wrote Terminator too.
Yeah, Terminator, Matrix, and she said that they stole the new Matrix. They couldn't use her people, so they used John Wick. They used John Wick to make the new. They didn't use Neo because she had the copyrights. They had to go around that, and so they used John Wick to play in the part 4. She said the part 4 is not even part 4. She's gonna break all that down. She sent me all. I got a whole file that she sent me of the pictures and everything. Man, when I tell you, when this lady come on, it's game over, bro. It's game over when Mother Sophia Stewart come on, bro. It's game over. All the file that I'm building right now that we on the show we finna do is crazy. She sent me pictures of all kind of stuff, and how they breaking down. She was breaking down a seed. Man, this lady, I'm telling you, man, this lady right here is a whole nother type of being, man.
You know,
When you
I did a show with her on what's the one that all of those rappers be on Telegram?
oh, you talking
I think it's
about
called
Clubhouse?
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look,
I
so
did.
yeah, we gonna get. Hey, Hakeem, you got to cut that at the background. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to get up out of here, man, because we got Hakeem coming in here now with his background noise.
Oh yeah, it's time for daddy duty. I know what time it is.
Yeah, man, it's just me and my boys now. So, you know, it's me and my boys. We have to move out of Atlanta, and we in Louisiana now. So we're
Well,
gonna
you
be,
know, that's part
yeah,
of
we're gonna
life
be
too.
right. Yeah, it's a struggle, but we're gonna make it for sure. All right, y'all. Hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, if you want to show Brother Raw Hayes some love on the cash out, we got like 1,400 people in here right now. If everybody send them $1, that'll put them in the game. You know what I'm saying? Send them $5 if you want to be nice to us, man. Like we're tripping on no fiat, but you know, it'll help us out so we can keep doing what we're doing and bringing you this the updates on the land and everything. People was asking about the public service announcement that Raw just did. We posted. It's on his. He got it on his Instagram page. You can go straight to that link in the descriptions right after the show to go to his Instagram. Go and because they really holding people back on the numbers, man. Because Raw is supposed to have 100,000 followers already on Instagram. Come on, man, they playing a game, right? And so you can go straight to his and link to his Instagram on here. Also, if you want to check out that public service announcement, we also have it posted on the video side, and it's called "If You Knew Better, You Would Do Better." Public service announcement with Raw Hayes, the recent public service announcement that was made about the updates on the land. So you want to check that out, right? And we're gonna be back, right? We're gonna be back. This is only the beginning, but like we said, we're getting the ball back rolling now since we let the heat die down, man. They tried to shut us down for that Uma tape, man. You know, but we're gonna get back, get it back cracking. And we got the documentaries about Malcolm. That's gonna roll out. Like I say, we had to let the heat die down. You know how they watching us like hawks. Go ahead.
And for the tribes that's watching, they want to see me clicking with some more chiefs. I just did one with Dane Calloway and Legendary Topcats earlier in the week.
Oh, fire! I'm about to copy that link into the descriptions. Fire.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We out. Stay tuned. It's about to get cracking. Wadu.